shot on I-40 of this wall cloud. Let's go ahead and take a look. Take it full if you don't mind, and we can see exactly what's going on. You're looking live now on Interstate 40 at the wall cloud that's moving in. We've also been following it as it made its way across the River Valley into the Fort Smith area. Okay. Okay, Joe actually reporting a wall cloud just northwest of Roland, and he's on his way towards Cedarville following the wall cloud. So watching the storm and watching the rotation on the thunderstorm, he's actually headed in the direction of east, which means the wall cloud would be directly to the left of the screen or perhaps a little bit to behind him, left or to to our left or just behind his current location. Taking a look. I noticed that too. It has weakened in the last few scans.
Still see a little bit there,
which is certainly good news for us. I'm actually going to move the Fort Smith camera. I don't believe it'll mess with Joe's shot.
It will.
It will. Okay.
Can we take the sky cam? Take the sky cam.
Okay. Can we go back to our Fort Smith sky cam real quick, or Fort Smith iCam? And if you could take Joe's shot down for just a second, I want to point it in the direction of the rotation. The wall cloud's actually moved east a little bit. So go ahead and Tyler, if you could. There you go. Yeah, that's it. That's the wall cloud there. So it's actually moving east. It's over Muldrow. No, it's actually over Roland now, moving northeast in the direction of Cedarville, out towards North Van Buren. And right now it does not appear to be rotating strongly on this. We did notice it on radar. It actually did come down a little bit. It's right here towards the top. So we're looking, this is the Arkansas River in this area. We're looking at Logtown Hill is going to be just to my right. The Clayton Expressway or Fort Smith Highway moving off in this direction on the north side of town. And then over this area, we're looking at Roland's actually going to be right about here. So the iCam shows it north of Roland, moving to the east. Could develop a tornado at any time. You could see it from the Fort Smith area looking from the south to the north in the direction of Cedarville. And Cedarville is really the next town that's really going to be seeing this as the storm moves in. But it has shown a little bit of weakening as it moves through. Okay.
Settle down towards Lattimore County. Looks like it's starting to bow out too in the last couple scans.
Okay.
So something to watch coming in.
Tyler, watching this cell and moving in, it will be moving to LaFleur County. Could have a very strong wind threat with it. So that's something to watch as it moves in a little bit more coming up shortly. Looking live here in from the Fort Smith area in the direction of the wall cloud. Moving in towards the Cedarville area. I can't actually pan the camera up anymore, but if I could, you'd be able to see a little bit more spinning. It's actually center frame is where the wall cloud is. And if a tornado were to actually develop, it would develop in in that area in the center of the screen, but the rotation has weakened quite a bit. You can see the appendage or perhaps a little bit of a lowering in this area. We have meteorologist Joe Pennington on the line. He's in that area. Joe, we've been chasing storms for about the last 3 or 4 days. What does this storm look like compared to some of the other rotation that has taken place in Oklahoma?
Well, we're looking at the rotation right now. It is a wall cloud. It's not rapidly rotating. That's certainly some good news. But we are looking at it. It's north of Roland. I'm actually, to give you a little bit better idea of where I'm at the Roland exit getting on to Interstate 40. And there's not particularly a lot of rotation. There is a lowering there. Doesn't seem to me that there's much organization to it right now. Now, we're going to continue to follow this. We're going to be bringing you a live stream here in just about 10 minutes or so. From one of our photographers that's also chasing with this. But right now, we got a pretty good look at it right now, just north of the interstate. There is some rotation with it, but right now, I'm not seeing any rapid rotation that would indicate that a tornado is imminent.
All right, I appreciate that, Joe. And I think we have his streaming camera, if we could take that up, and you'll be able to see this as it moves through. Again, looking at that lowering, we're following it really from 2 camera shots from the Fort Smith area looking into Van Buren, which you're seeing on your screen. At the top right is where the rotation is. And then we're also following it on another camera shot. If we can pull that one up, I'll show you what it looks like from Joe's vantage point. He's actually following it from behind it. So he's actually behind the wall cloud now, looking at it from the Roland area. What's interesting is you can clearly see the rotation. That's the same thing that we just saw a moment ago on our Fort Smith iCam. See the center to the left of or to the right of the screen? That's the lowering that Joe was talking about. What's interesting is sometimes you can actually see clouds forming and lifting up into the storm. We call it scud clouds, but it's clouds that are actually condensing and then rising into the updraft. That's why it's called a wall cloud or it's lower because it's sucking air up, and as it gets moved up, it condenses and causes lower clouds. So the clouds are a lot lower inside those wall clouds. So we do have the tornado warning that is in effect for Crawford County. It does appear, though, that the rotation has weakened substantially compared to what it was earlier when it moved through Muldrow and Roland and Blackjack. Right now, still looking at a rotating wall cloud, though, located, looks to be crossing the Arkansas-Oklahoma line now, would be north of Van Buren. I'm going to check radar real quick to make sure I have an exact lock on it.
The National Weather Service just said the cell near Haskell is potential for some damaging wind as it works towards Muldrow, Gans, into Fort Smith.
Okay, so this isn't over with really for Fort Smith. We've got another cell that's back out to the west that's going to be moving in, more of a damaging wind risk with that particular cell. This rotation, I'm looking at it on radar right now, is still located. It's just to the north of Roland by 2 miles. 2 miles north of Roland, moving right across the Arkansas-Oklahoma state line now. So it is going to be coming into the north side of Van Buren, and it's just north of Roland, and that's what we're seeing here on Joe's iCam as well, and you're looking live at the image of the wall cloud here in the River Valley as it moves through. So this is the rotation that we're seeing now. It is still fairly strong. If it did produce a tornado, I don't think it'd be a strong one, but it could be a weak one. The other thing I want to talk about real quick, and I know Joe's shot's very compelling, but if we can get over to the Fort Smith iCam shot, I can show you where the damaging wind risk is going to be. And if you look over to the left side of the screen, we're looking north. What the storm is doing is collapsing. And look right here. See this area? That rain is coming out. We call it a rain foot. So we could be looking at damaging winds still ongoing in Sequoyah County and in Crawford County within the middle of that thunderstorm that's coming through. Wind damage potential picking up on that storm. Tyler just mentioned it as well in Haskell County. We can get back to Joe's shot because he's actually right under the wall cloud right now. But the wind damage potential isn't over in Fort Smith. It's actually coming up in the in Haskell County, and that storm is going to be tracking into Van Buren and into Fort Smith. So we have another storm that's coming in that is going to have a high wind damage potential in the River Valley coming up shortly. I'm also keeping a watchful eye on northwest Arkansas. I know we've had some storms move through, and really all of this started in Benton County. As of now, I'm watching thunderstorms, but they're thunderstorms with wind potential in the Fayetteville area now. I'm not seeing any rotation within any of this, and as far as hail size goes, I really don't see a lot of hail within this either that's located in Washington County. I am watching that, though, and there does appear to be about quarter-size hail in the tornado-warned supercell that's moving into the River Valley from just north of Roland. Real quick, I want to get an idea of exactly where it's located from a specific point. So right from the Arkansas-Oklahoma state line, from the Arkansas-Oklahoma Interstate 40 area, just north of there. It's located just 4 miles north of there, still rotating. Meteorologist Joe Pennington's live on the tornado warning as it crosses from Sequoyah County into Crawford County. Joe, what are you seeing now?
Well, I'm kind of blocked in by some trees right now, Garrett. Give you an idea of where I'm at. I'm about 2 miles to the east of Roland on Interstate 40. I'm going to be coming up on the Arkansas-Oklahoma state line here very shortly. Looking back, though, to the north and the northeast, still looking at a little bit of a lowering, but again, the rotation on that thing really hasn't picked up any so far from what I was looking at just a few minutes ago as a storm passed just north of my location.
Okay, we actually did see the rotation, Joe, increase on the last scan. It's not particularly strong, but it still could drop a weak tornado in that area. And we're looking at it live on your camera here. It looks like it would be just to your left. Do you see any lowering or anything? We can clearly see that bright area there to the right of the screen, but do you happen to see a lowering or anything like that in that area? We're showing it crossing the state line right now.
Well, I should have a better look at it right now. Unfortunately, as I look off to my left, the live streaming camera is just a mile or two behind me. And I'm kind of blocked in right now, at least for the moment, with some pretty thick trees that I can't see over and see the lowering, but I should be able to see that in just a few minutes. I'm just about 1 mile now from the state line.
All right, appreciate that. Meteorologist Joe Pennington, he is right behind that supercell watching the rotation potential on that storm as it moves across the state line from Arkansas back into the Oklahoma area. So something to keep a very close eye on here as it moves on in. I want to take a look, too, if we can. We'll go back to Joe's camera here in just a moment. I want to jump over to our Fort Smith iCam and then go back to radar and get a complete view of what's going on. The Fort Smith iCam really compelling and really telling right now as you take a look at that. and are able to see the heavy rain that's coming down across the area. And if you could, Tyler, yeah, go ahead and pan. We'll zoom in on that. You can see the rain sheets and possible wind damage potential still coming in on this storm on the west side of the storm as it moves through. So we're still talking about wind damage that's possible in this thunderstorm cell. And you can see the heavy rain bands pushing out of the storm as the storm literally pushes that cold, dense air down to the ground. Now, if you don't mind, Tyler, zoom out and we'll zoom east. And then I want to go back to radar, but we want to see if we can still see the wall cloud that's moving in this area. National Weather Service is now